Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is the finale of my palette tournament. And my name is Alyssa, and if you like to watch makeup content, especially with panning and using products that you already know and love, then I hope you'll stay tuned and subscribe to my channel. So, if you haven't watched the other videos in this series, I've been doing a palette tournament based off of an idea from It's Just Steph, who's also here on YouTube. And you should go watch her videos because she has way more palettes and, she did some really cool stuff with her intro and just, I don't know, I like seeing all the palettes. So you should go check her out. And she gave permission for me to piggyback on her idea with my own tournament. So I don't have as many palettes. I only have 19. And I sorted mine out into their color conferences. So I had my neutral palettes, my neutral with a pop of color, so neutral with a twist almost kind of palettes, my heavy on the shimmer palettes, and these were my rainbow colorful palettes, but I guess they're still both colorful at this point. So that's what I had. I also had wild cards. So this palette here was actually a wild card, and I had a couple others then that it was competing with. So after they battled out within their conferences, we are left with the two from each. So I'm going to start off with the one I already know what's going to win here. My old favorite neutral palette, the Persona Identity, versus the new favorite neutral palette. And as you can tell by that title there, if it's the new favorite, it is the favorite between these two. Because I will say, I do like the colors in here, but I have always wished that I could, part of the reason the Hubble shade has been used so much is because I would use it to kind of like lighten up some of these others to have more of a transition. Well, I've got the transition shades here. I like the shimmers here. They're a little bit neutral for me. So here I've got neutral shimmers, then they're also a little bit more sparkly and some color. So like for instance, this shade Bombshell, I always think is green and it's not, but I actually have a green one that is actually green. So the Persona Identity is out, and the dollhouse lives for another round. Now I'm gonna come here. All right, so my Juicy Boost palette is colorful, which I do like. So if you're new here, I am a color lover more than neutrals. So, it doesn't have, I am more of a sparkle lover than a matte eyeshadow lover. This only has 3 sparkles. These are a bunch of my singles that ended up together, and they are some of my favorite singles. I can do a look that's just using one of these, but with my mattes here, I usually have to bring in something else. I usually can't just use this. I think because of that, Juicy Boost is out. This one is hanging around, my singles. I don't know, what do I want to call it? I'll just call it my singles. I don't have any other singles left in the tournament still. So, all right. That will be competing against the Dollhouse palette. Now over here, I'll do these. All right, so my heavy on the shimmers palettes. Oh wait, I forgot. I'm so used to looking at this as a palette now because it actually has a proper color story, because we've got like the pinks, purples, and like warm tones and all. Oh, okay. So these are also really good singles that I like. Next to this palette from Tarte, which is again a good one because I can do a full look with it. I've got like my lighter shades, my darker shades. I've got, different kinds of color shimmers. But this is one of my favorite kinds of color stories with pink and purple and What will I pick? You know what? I'm going to shock myself because I kind of thought I was going to go for my singles here. But I think I am going to go with the Tarte palette because I do kind of like some of the variety that I get. Because sometimes I might not be in the mood for these kinds of shades. And I do have some pink and purple here. And so when I'm not, I've got like some blues and other stuff happening. Yeah. Oh, that's tough. Because there were some. Yeah, I'm gonna go for this Tarte palette this time. Although, ooh, that's kind of a bit of that was a close one there. The score would have been, maybe it went into overtime. All right, so far the Tarte palette is gonna have won that conference. Now, my Makeup Revolution palette against my e.l.f. palette. Okay, so this one is good. I've brought it for travel a bunch of times. I can get looks. I know I just said that I like to have sparkles and all that stuff, and this one doesn't really give me much of that. But I used it for a long time, just like having some more, like, you know, throw on a single color, and they were easy to blend, and because they're not so strongly pigmented that I could kind of build it up gradually, and it would be an easy look for while I was away. This palette I never could take traveling. It broke fairly early on. I mean, the big mirror was nice over there, but yeah, you know, it was also its downfall. I mean, because like the shimmers in here, you know, like they're kind of, they're okay. They were never the best. So they're not really redeeming this palette much for me. I think I might actually go for the e.l.f. palette this time. And I know I talked about, like, you know, it's like, oh, like as far as I like having the dark shades here to do different things, but I do actually get like a nice variety when I've used this. And I'm okay maybe thinking of it also as a companion palette because it is small, so I can, you know, easily bring along like my, you know, singles, my singles here, you know, or bring in just like one single or something like that, and it would be okay. So yeah, this palette for once is out of the tournament. So our final four, we have the e.l.f. and J. Kissa palette, the Tartist. Is it just the Tartist? I always forget. Tartist Pro Remix. And the e.l.f. palette just doesn't want to stay open. All right, so that one. My mix of singles. And the Blend Bunny Dollhouse palette. All right. Final four. Are we ready for this? I don't know. All right. Well, I guess going off of how they do it in basketball. You know what? No, I don't have to do it how they do it in basketball. I think normally it would be these two against each other and these two against each other. Well, no, I guess I should do that. All right, we're going to keep it like basketball. So, Dollhouse palette, the shimmers. This is an easy one. I love my shimmers, but I do still get some sparkliness there, and I get a bunch of mattes to play with and all too, which makes me feel like a little makeup artist, and that's always fun. I'm gonna have to go with the Dollhouse palette. So I'm sorry my singles did not make it. All right, now over here. All right, so I gotta move this one out of the way. Why do you keep closing, e.l.f.? At least you're easy to open. Okay. e.l.f. or the Tarte? You know what, this one's actually easy for me too. Because I mean, I do like this. You know, it's got the shimmers and all. But I'm actually kind of feeling a strong bit of nostalgia for this e.l.f. palette and how it's treated me through the years. You know, and it's small but mighty with the colors. I mean, I wish the red was actually more of a red. You can see it. It just kind of is looking a bit more browny, like a very warm orangey brown kind of thing. But yeah, I think that, wow, Who would have thought that the e.l.f. palette would have made it to the final? But yeah, Tarte, you're not making it this time. Goodbye. Okay, one of my oldest palettes next to my newest palette. Any thoughts on who's gonna win? Think about it. You've heard what I've been saying so far. To no surprise, at least I don't think it should be a surprise, the Blend Bunny Dollhouse one is going to win my full palette championship. I love the variety of colors, but it's still neutral. I get shimmers, and it's a nice amount of shimmers with the amount of mattes, and they work well. I've got a mirror. I guess on one hand it's a little big, so I'm not sure if I'll be traveling with this much or not. I haven't traveled yet since I've had it, so I can't say. But I do really like it. So this is my championship winner. Woo! Alright, if you liked me talking about my makeup and looking through it with me, then maybe you'll like this video, maybe you'll subscribe for some more. So thank you for joining me for this, and I will see you next time.